remember I was hired to do an event for Jovian, and I misread the event. I thought it was all about elegance and luxe fashion. And then on the third day, they told me to leave, basically, because... So welcome to ATM Login. Assalamualaikum. I've got two wonderful guests today. And in line with the theme of ATM, which stands for Amati, Tiru, Modifikasi.
Wow.
That is going to be the whole theme
banget.
of the conversation today. It's good to have you with us, two very handsome gentlemen flanking me today. And we've just got to be mindful of who's going to be asking the questions. It's going to be a bit of a competitive stream.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Om Ded, Habib Ja'far and Onad for the original login show. And I'm just so starstruck.
Bener, ini kayak sesepuh kita ya, senior kita.
Yes.
Legendaris
Legend. Yes.
I was nervous. I was nervous because the Fasting Bro brand has got a little bit of religiousness to it, right? Because I remember
I thought you were
watching-
going to say controversy.
Yeah, I mean, that maybe a little bit of that too. But I know that it's one of those brands which is quite brave, but it's rooted in Islam. I loved your interview years ago with Loki.
Yeah.
You were at a coffee
Loki
shop,
was a
and
good
I'm a
one.
big fan of Loki. He doesn't know that he's one of my best friends. He doesn't know that yet. But I love that content. And the fact that you bring so much humor and so much relatable everyday life to what can be something a bit intimidating was just really nice for me. So I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Kayak gua ngefans banget karena kayak gimana ya? Enter dulu tuh dari kita ngelihat entertainment di Brunei itu, wah, masya Allah, like wah, kalau gua nge-explain in wordnya kayak gini, the it girl. Oh, iya, kayak gitu bener. Waduh, ini please big it up. Gua bener-bener banyak ngelajar.
Wait, hold on. I'm worried now. The it girl was actually my twin sister Paula.
No,
she was
Paul.
the it girl. Do you remember?
I have a funny story.
Uh-huh.
So I met her during a private screening of a movie that she was in.
Yes.
And then I was like, "Hi, Jenny." Not the first one tonight.
You couldn't tell the difference?
I couldn't. In picture, I could, but in person, I'm like, I really thought it was you. I was like, "Hi, Jenny." Not the first one.
I get upset when people mix us up because it means that I didn't make enough of an impression for you to know the difference. But then again, as I was telling Masked Man, what's your name, by the way?
Mosque man.
Your name is
Yeah,
Masked Man. I was
Masked
telling
Man.
MM here that we've never actually spoken properly. Can?
Yeah.
So this is new and fresh. So
Yeah.
thanks again for having me.
Yeah, I think we've just been stumbled.
Yeah. You know how you know people in Brunei, but then you're like, I don't really know.
Benar.
So it's good to get to know you today,
Yeah,
Hadi. Also,
yeah.
my husband's name is Hadi, which was one of the driving forces for me to say yes to today.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of people
bener
named Hadi.
banget,
I think.
banget.
Yeah.
What does it stand for again? The guider.
The guider.
Ya, guidance.
To guide.
To guide. Hadi.
Yeah.
Al-Hadi means the one who shows, kayak ya penuntun kayak gitu.
Penuntun.
Like ya.
Not penuntun as
No.
a viewer.
Gimana ya? Like
I mean, I do that in the kitchen, right? I just view.
Hadi, ya, kayak gitu.
And I think that's the value of saying your name, right?
Yeah.
And I love that as well. So when people go D, does that upset you? You're like,
No,
say the
no.
full name.
No, I'm
You're
good.
okay
Like
with it.
I'm not very picky lah when it comes to like people can call me bro or fasting.
Hey, I have a question. Why fasting, bro?
Do you know intermittent fasting?
I do.
Yeah. So let's just say I went a little bit extreme on the intermittent fasting.
So you were like a really big guy?
I
Did you go
w-
through a transformation through it?
Yeah. I'm still a big guy.
But then you went through IF and you became a smaller big guy.
Yes, exactly.
So you're still fasting? I mean,
yeah,
obviously
we are.
this month, yeah.
No.
Yeah, but when I say extreme, the standard practice for intermittent fasting is always 16-8, right? 16-hour fasting, 8-hour feeding. So I usually take up until 24, 26 hours. Yeah.
How does that even feel?
You get used to it.
But you can drink, right?
Water, yes.
Yeah, and black coffee.
I do diet soda.
Doesn't that like rot your gut though? You know what I mean though, right?
Yeah.
So you're still doing that?
Yeah, but not as extreme. So I probably do like fast every other day.
Why, actually?
For health benefits.
Really?
Heart, I do have a history of heart.
So it's a health thing.
It's a health thing.
Are
yeah.
you experiencing any food addictions? Is it a problem for you, food?
No, I don't think so.
Because some people are addicted to food, right?
I'm addicted to coffee ya.
Coffee.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you are like, yeah.
Kopi itu kayak asupan nutrien kayak bagi
It's
gua.
my blood as well. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I love my coffee. How many cups of coffee do you have a day?
In Ramadan kayaknya gua cuman 2 deh.
One for sungkai?
Or no, 2 for more.
2 for more.
2 for more.
2 for more.
2 for after.
Tapi kadang gua 1 for sungkai, 1 for after tarawih kayak gitu.
Okay. Then you can't sleep, right? Do you like coffee, Hadi?
I'm not a coffee person.
What? Really?
I don't like to go to the toilet.
Oh, it makes you
Yeah, no. It makes me. It's diuretic, right? So
Right.
it makes you pee like every 5 minutes. I can't.
Okay.
I can't handle that.
But you like the taste.
Without the caffeine, I would say yeah. It's not about the taste. It's more like I don't like going to the bathroom. to
Oh,
pee.
that's inconvenient. So you're a Milo boy.
No, I'm a matcha. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No masalah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the
not for you.
matcha.
It tastes so powdery to me. Kind of that
Okay,
powdery
yeah.
flavor. I'm not
They
loving
would
it.
use the term umami.
Umami, that
Umami?
fullness. No, I don't like it at all. But
The umami.
we can have a drink another time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Musman, we've spent like
Mask
Oh
Man.
iya
10
mohon
minutes
maaf.
and-
Benar.
That was just the intro, everybody.
the intro.
Ya, oke. Kayak ini ya, gue mau nanya, in this day and age, bisa share nggak the importance of mindset and how it helps to realign with our whole being to be the accountable self kayak gitu.
That is such a heavy question. And I
Such
think
a
I'm also
heavy-
surprised that you picked up on the mindset element because that's something very new to me when I got my coaching certification for that a few years ago. There's a lot to unpack there, but I think I'll give you an example of how important mind setting is. Before I came here, I had to literally instruct myself on how to behave. So a lot of mindset is just really about being intentional and giving your subconscious mind and conscious mind instruction.
That's very interesting. What do you
Isn't
mean
it?
behave?
So, for example, I tend to swear a lot. I tend to overshare. I tend to ask people invasive questions. So I have to continually
Oh, that's
give
interesting.
my mind instruction on how to behave. So I had to literally give myself a pep talk today. So I think, in a nutshell, it's really about being intentional with either how you want to be perceived or how you want to feel or what results you want. You've got to decide that and then let the behaviors follow. There's a lot in mindset, but it's about making decisions.
No, the reason why I said interesting because you've been on the public space.
Yeah. And I'm surprised how I've learned this so late in life, and it's such a great tool for anybody. If you're having a bad day, if you've got a new job, if you're doing something new, decide how you want it to go and then let the behaviors follow, right? Otherwise, you're just like a boat in a sea which is just going to float. No, you choose where that boat's going to go. So I'm very big on that, and I'm trying to get my teenagers in on that as well. And I think people should learn about that much earlier on.
I think so.
Kan?
I agree.
Benar,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. In this day and age, I agree. I mean, like you really have to adapt real quick.
Benar.
Yeah.
Benar.
Like my kid, he's turning 5 in a few days. So it's so interesting how he has a switch, I think.
What kind of a switch?
Like Allah, bos, ni dah dapat ni. No, because I'm recently divorced.
Oh,
Yeah. So where were we? Mindset.
Mindset.
Ya, the mindset
Yeah.
udah dia udah ngebilang tadi
Iya,
kan.
iya.
Udah nge-realign-nya kayak gimana. Harus basically kayak in a sense that for every place and every time itu ada set konteksnya gimana harus kita mannerisme kita, adab kita kayak gitulah.
Yeah.
As we always bilang kayak gitu.
Yeah.
So hence kita lebih ngebahas in different languages itu fitting for the role and biar message-nya sampai deh.
Yeah. Speaking of fitting, how do we stay relevant, Jenny? Like you've been around for quite some time.
Oh, that's such a hot button for me.
Yeah. And how do we get the times? How do we get with the times to have like a cross generational reach? Because I'm sure you want to reach the Gen Z.
You know, we were just talking about this just
Yeah,
now.
benar.
Yeah.
And I was saying how I was watching your podcast with Nadira. And she's definitely a rising star, this
Yeah.
child, okay? She's got this wonderful energy. And somebody had commented on your YouTube that they love her Disney accent. And we were talking about how
Bener.
my accent, which was based on training, was almost like a BBC gold standard of how to broadcast
Yeah.
back in the 80s, is very out of date now. Nobody wants this.
Really?
Yeah. It's very alienating. It doesn't resonate with the young people. They want the, hey guys, and they want something brighter and lighter. So this old-fashioned kind of broadcasting voice, which we had training in the 80s, it's not it, man. So there's a lot to be said for there are different trends in broadcasting, if you even call it broadcasting now. In media, people don't want anything too polished. They want organic stuff.
Yeah,
They
that I
hand.
noticed. Yeah, they don't want it. They don't want polished.
Yeah.
They
But
just,
you had a theory.
No, I
the
have
rubber
a
band
different perspective.
theory.
Karena kayak gini, there's certain trends kayak di Netflix ya, Peaky Blinders. Oh, keren banget.
Peaky Blinders is from Birmingham though, right?
Yeah, but it has still that nuances kayak gitu kan.
Yeah, and there's a beauty in it, right? And to that point, I feel that like even my Jemima, she's the same age as your son, 5, 6, 7, whatever. So she's got this TikTok voice. You know the TikTok voice, right?
what's a TikTok?
Nggak tahu.
voice?
I'm a bit Americanized. Hey mama, I want to do some cooking now. You got any water? So I said to her the other day, can you grab me a glass of water? And she goes, oh, can I have a glass of water? I said, what are you doing? She said, you speak funny. I said, I speak right, you speak weird. I never showed her how to say water like that. It's a TikTok thing.
Oh, it's a TikTok thing.
It's an affected thing, right?
Yeah.
But it makes people very relatable. And it's got commercial.
Oh, commercial
Water.
value and relatable. Oh,
And
that's two very good point.
true though, right?
Yeah.
Bener. Kayak kemasukannya itu ya terserah gimana how one wants to be perceived. Tapi kan kita nggak explore, we haven't explored the whole context kayak gitu. But if I were to say kan lebih kan pas last year ada perdebatan kayak who's more up, kayak Barbie or Oppenheimer kayak gitu.
Okay.
So different people suits for different context kayak gimana ya gue mau kayak gini. So nggak juga terlalu pragmatik kayak gitu juga.
That's true. There's not one size fits all. But there are some definite general trends now of the kind
Yeah.
of content people want to
Agreed,
consume.
kayak gitu.
Yeah.
So, how do you stay relevant?
How do
to
I stay
to
relevant?
the younger generation?
So I'm not a great content creator. It's difficult. I mean, all this editing and
Yeah.
it takes time and
Takes
stuff. I don't have a
time.
crew. So how do I don't personally probably stay very relevant. But at the same time, I do think it's important
But
to...
people still hire you for MCs
They,
and stuff.
they do hire me for MCs when they want a certain
Vibe.
feel or a certain vibe. And I appreciate that. Because you have to identify your brand with the personality. And then also
Agreed,
there's
kayak gitu.
the product endorsement is a very interesting space for me. So that's not all about shock value or being sensational. It's about helping sell a product which you align with to help another business. So for example, I got an ortho pillow sent to me today. Because it came up on my feed. Because I'm 50, right? So all these weird things come up on my feed like supplements and bed for old people. So I'm happy to endorse these kind of products which will bring value to people. And I don't have to do the, hey guys, and do that. It's just, get the message across. And hopefully it will benefit someone, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how I take the pressure off myself.
I see. That's interesting approach actually.
Benar.
Like, you don't have to stay relevant, but you have to stay relevant for your audience, for your market.
You have to bring something of value, right?
Yeah.
And relevance is so hard to measure, right?
Tapi kayaknya kalau gue nge-introspeksi ya, kayak my analysis would be kayak gini. Jenny itu punya niche-nya dia sendiri. Jadi yang kepengen pursue kayak gitu, oh branding gue harus gini nih. Oh kayak gitu, relevansinya itu. Karena gue honestly gue emang a bit starstruck, ada dua. Jadi kaku atau yang mau ngebebel-gebel kayak gini. Gitu. But kayak gitu lah.
Yeah, and I think the whole brand thing is a really important conversation. I remember I was hired to do an event for JOVIAN once in Jakayangan at the Empire. And I misread the event. I thought it was all about elegance and luxe fashion. And then on the third day, they told me to leave, basically, because not in a horrible way, but I wasn't suiting the feel that he needed on that last day, which was like a big wholesale warehouse feel. So he was able to identify that today you're not matching what I need to be messaged. So they got in somebody who could get that message across better. That was really embarrassing, but I appreciate the fact that it's really important to make sure you have the right personality to front your
You respect the
business.
decision. It's embarrassing.
I was damn embarrassed. Oh my God. Because a good MC doesn't mean you're good for everybody. So I was not good for him on that day. Because I couldn't pull the crowd. I couldn't do the
Do you share that story?
No, I don't think I've ever shared that story.
That's-
And it's
that-
not about dissing Jovian. He knows what he wants.
Yeah. And that's good too.
And he said, this is not working for me. So they got in Zach Hardy, who nailed it.
Zach Hardy.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Right?
Do you know Zach Hardy?
Nggak tahu gua.
He-
Zach Hardy.
He's a great personality.
Yeah.
Very hard worker.
Gua belum kayak banget.
Belum jejak kasih.
He's versatile. Yeah. So that's an example of you got to get it right. And from the client side, I'll do anything if you give me $1. But from the client side, make sure you have the right person.
Yeah.
Kan?
Gua ada thought deh, tapi belum kayak ke artikulasi kayak gitu. Tapi ntar nanti ya mungkin. Yuk, so now kayak
That's your question.
Your question?
question gua.
Question 3, right?
Mm-mm.
We do this. Then we read the script. We
Yeah.
read the question number. It's become a thing. At first, it wasn't a thing. I was like,
So you're going to edit this as you go along?
no.
Oh, right. Okay.
No.
Standing composed. So we just go raw.
Yeah.
Wow. Shooting
95%
blanks.
raw.
People like that, right?
Yeah.
Bener. Kayak
We might say the bad words and then we have to edit that out.
I've been very good today. Have I sworn?
You know, you've been very
Right?
good.
Masya
No.
Allah.
Intention.
Masya Allah.
Intention.
I have to tell myself to not.
Kayak gini ya, Jenny, kepengen tanya from your experience and perspective, how kita bisa nge-represent content yang reaches a wider audience and across the generations. Tadi you said that kayak Nadira itu dia punya aksennya,
Yeah.
penampilannya itu, presentasinya itu kayaknya diterima rame ya.
Yeah. There's a universal love for it.
Benar.
But I think going to that question, the thing is, I can't reach everybody. It just doesn't work that way. You know, I'm at my age of certain experience, of certain viewpoints. So I'm not a mass market kind of personality. Plus, I'm not Malay speaking. We're in a Malay speaking country. So I'm not going to hit the masses ever. So to that, I have to just be really mindful that I'm not going to reach everybody. So I have to choose my audience and who it aligns with.
Oh, benar.
And there's a lot of conversation there for people who are my age, and not many conversations about it. I don't know if have you had any 50-year-old content creators on? Females?
Oh, ada.
Female.
Lelaki ada.
Lelaki
Not
ada.
not the women, right? So there's this huge...
Belum ingat.
There are lots of women who are experts, but not necessarily creating content around their subject matter.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah,
a big gap
Benar.
here. There is an appetite for
There is a big gap.
for
There is
women
a
to
big gap,
share
yeah.
Benar.
it and put it into some kind of a comprehensive format.
I think that's where we as podcasters come in
Benar.
to fill that gap.
Fill the gaps.
Yeah, to bridge that gap actually. 'Cause-
Bridgingnya kayak masuk.
Yeah.
Bisa.
We can invite a lot of the experts and
benar.
in this very niched area like the topic that we talked about earlier.
Benar harus. Ntar nanti centang nomor
So
5
many
gue mau
inside joke.
tanya.
Oh, there's a topic coming up that's juicy.
Iya,
Yeah,
benar.
son. All right, so we're just warming up.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for it.
We'll get you ready. Just leave it with us, right? We got this. Don't worry.
Ya, I think udah dijawab deh oleh
Iya.
Jenny.
Okay, Jenny, what
Question loading.
was one of the challenges so far? What is the one thing that you would like to know? Advise your younger self if you had to know earlier in the journey to put value in one's self.
These are super deep questions, guys.
The writer.
These are really, and we deliberately did not go through the questions first, right?
Benar,
For the element of
benar,
shock and awe.
tadi.
So what
Would you tell your younger
would
self?
I tell?
An
Well,
advice.
I mean, funnily enough, what I would tell my younger self is what I tell my Molly. My Molly's 15. I've never had a teenage daughter before. So whatever I would want to tell myself is what I'm telling Molly now. So when she has friendship problems, you know, she's young, falls in love, you know, and it's really real feelings for her. So I try to give her advice based on what I wish I knew when I was that age, and to create that space where let's talk about it. So there's no real one thing, but I want, like you would wish when you were 20, you knew what you knew now. You'd be so much cooler, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And life would just be so much more fire. So just try to give them a little head start with that, but help them to learn on their own as well, right?
Because she has like a real life case study, right?
Yeah,
With her daughter.
My little one.
Yeah.
Well, I got two. Yeah.
So that's
So it's such an interesting question. And the timing is right because I have two teenagers and they're 15 and 16 and things change. And then they're asking real things and going through real feelings and real changes.
what are some of the questions, if I may?
So she's 15 and there are a few issues sometimes with other girlfriends and some weird insecurities comes up. And for some reason, I feel that this younger generation is obsessed with how they look. It's all about, is this pretty, mama? Or is she pretty? Is she beautiful? And it's an obsession because of social media and filters. Everybody looks so perfect. So there's that's come up, which I can't relate to. So I keep trying to basically drill the point home that, okay, these are filters, but let's not measure people on their beauty all the time. There are much better ways to measure people. It sounds so basic, right? But I really feel that that's what teenagers now are using as a yardstick.
So do you
Beauty.
feel you're successful in kind of like instilling that, you know, let's value people value people?
Value them in a different way.
Value them in a different way.
I mean, I say my piece, but I think when you're consuming that kind of heavily filtered content all the time, it's I've got to keep cutting through it. And that's what they're navigating now, right? The levels of beauty and perfection are high.
social media, filters,
Right?
yeah, makeups.
And that's just one element of it. Sorry, that wasn't great advice I just gave, but it's something which I just thought about yesterday. Both my little girls. Is she pretty, mama? Is she beautiful? Obsessed with measuring people on that.
Are we really going there?
Where are we going, Adi?
Question 5.
See, others aren't long distance.
How do people see people who goes through experience, kayak kan dunia itu nggak semestinya indah, tapi keindahan itu the eyes of the observer kayak gitu. So what happens when people have to separate ways, and how do we deal with that kayak untuk anak kita?
It's such a big part of your story, of my story. It's our story, Bahadi. There's a tough man going through that, regardless of who wants it.
Terserah lo.
So, Hadi, can I just ask, how old are you?
I'm 36.
You're 36. 36 was a really crucial, very crucial year for me. I went through I've been married twice, and it's something which people aren't really comfortable to talk about. But I think in terms of, and I know a lot of this conversation is about making changes and being really intentional about how you want to live your life. And I've got to say that, and people don't ask me about it enough. And it's not about showboating it, but it's about understanding how some of these really awful experiences, which are very unpopular decisions, really help obviously shape you and really remind you of the fact that you were in a position, from my angle, to make difficult decisions for the good reasons. And I think along the lines of mindset coaching, it's really all about consciously making decisions,
Benar.
which may not feel good at the time, but you know what outcome you want. And I was hoping for a chance to speak about that as well today. The reason why I bring it up is because I was worried about coming on the show that I don't represent the religion in the right way. I've got a very checkered history of getting things wrong and trying things all over again. And I just wanted to be here today, not to show anything other than I'm super flawed and I'm okay with it. And I think I wanted to have the opportunity to share that with people during this month of Ramadan.
Ya benar, kan kita one of the prospects yang show ini is all about is tabayun. Tabayun is where you come to that person, tanya, clarify, kayak gimana. Clarification kayak gitu.
And I think the more stuff you go through, you just become a better person. You become a better friend, a better listener.
Yeah.
Because your feelings go to different places.
Benar.
And I just think it's something that I would love for a podcast to go into as well. Some of that uncomfortable stuff, which is not popular in Brunei.
But there they're there to help the people that are
to go through it.
yeah.
And we can't all pretend, back to social media, that our lives are all amazing because we curate it. There's some nonsense that goes on once those cameras are turned off, man. And
Yeah.
that's what makes that person so interesting, so dimensional.
Bener. Tapi kalau gue bisa ya, Jenny, kayak you sharing your experience itu biar jadi lesson learned bagi mereka yang mungkin nggak kerasa kayak gitu, tapi they can take upon that journey. Jadi mereka can forgo apa yang nggak sepatutnya. Kayak when you said like if you wanted to speak to your younger self kayak gini.
Yeah.
So biar yang kita ngerasa our mistakes yang kita buat itu ya biar di bypass oleh kita aja deh. So we form a bit of a service in that way.
Yes.
So they would be better a version that we would love them to see kayak gitu.
Through choices.
Mm-mm,
Make the
benar.
decisions sometimes. And I think that is another key message as well, which I wish I had told myself at 20, 25. Choose it. Don't live life by default. Make those hard decisions. Because let's say, for example, if you want to talk about divorce, when I went through it, people get embarrassed, they get uncomfortable, they alienate themselves from you. Your friends don't want your husbands to hang out with you because it's become like, oh, you become some kind of a diseased person.
Oke, di stigma kayak gitu ya.
There is a stigma. And maybe not so much now, but I'm talking about maybe 12, 13 years ago. But it doesn't always have to be nasty and horrible and ugly and terrible. It can come from a kind place and a right
I
place.
agree.
So there are all these things in Brunei which I think we're becoming more open about.
Kayak, can I ask, bisa gue tabayun nggak, Jenny? Bisa kan? I want to ask you something.
Translate that into
Sorry, tabayun means to ask biar clear kayak gitu. Clarify. Can I clarify with you,
Yes,
Jenny?
yes.
Kayak, if you don't mind, bisa ya?
Yeah,
Kan?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Gimana lo menghandle your did you have kids before that from the previous one?
Yes.
Okay, so how did you handle that? Like,
This was interesting. So I got two little ones, Izzy and Molly. So when the divorce happened, they must have been about maybe 3 and 4, very little. And I remember going to their school and I was crying. It was just a really difficult day. And I said to the teacher, I don't know what to tell Izzy, Molly. They're only small. And she said, Jenny, you just use the word. I said, what word? So you just use the word divorce. Don't make it what it's not. So that was something which really helped me be clear about this process. It is a divorce. You don't go, D word, this word. That's a word. We were going through a divorce. I was clear with the children. And I think just having ownership was what really helped me. Having ownership over that process. Being patient, giving it the respectful time it needed. You can't rush these things, right?
No.
And I would like to take credit that we handled it well. It's not a good time for anyone, but there's definitely ideal ways to handle it. And that is in your control. Because it can be, and I'll say the bad words, a real slinging contest in court. Can be. It can get terrible. And going through the process here, they don't want that. So it was difficult, but a really powerful experience to go through.
Oh,
What are your thoughts, Hadi? Nervous laughter.
What are your thoughts?
Gue mungkin kayak gini. Kalau nge-thoughts gue, I mean, we're in an age where there's a lot of perspective. Jadi kalau kita nggak jaga, we don't balance our circle itu, ya bisa kemasuk ditusuk sini, ya biar jadi fire starter kayak gitu.
What do you mean by
bisa
that?
Batu api.
Batu
Batu
api.
api.
Ya,
Oh.
batu api. Kalau because mereka kan nggak ada perspektif keseluruhannya. Jadi it's also a responsibility for people to respect kayak gitu. Dan kita yang orang-orang yang melalui itu harus firm juga. This is a reality that we're coming through. Tolong ya hormati kayak gini,
Yeah.
adabnya gini. The ethics kayak engagement itu seharusnya gitu. Bukannya oh dia pasti kayak gini-gini. Jangan deh, jangan. Yang pentingnya tabayun yuk.
Yeah, verify
Paham pemirsa?
first. Yeah,
Verify
verification.
dulu.
Verify first.
Bener.
But again, going back to the issue, you'll be surprised how little people do care about our lives.
Bener.
We tend to overemphasize what actions we take in the eyes of other people. They don't care that much. Actually, yeah. Kan? They don't. Do you care that much about my life? Not really. We're so busy working, and I think in Brunei we're a bit obsessed with the optics of everything, the reputation. I don't know that we care that much anymore about other people's lives.
Yeah. I think yang
In a good way.
kepentingan gue itu kayak gini. Maybe just to share like from our Om Ded, dia bilang kayak gini. When he said to his son, Aska, he said, Aska, kalau papa meninggal, you will lose one of the person who actually wants you to be more successful than I am. Berapa banyak orang yang kayak gitu. Kayak, so when probably in lens gua ya, if we have people yang kayak gitu, itu yang we treasure the most ya, advice-nya kita ngambil. Karena yang kepentingan yang, the advice that they give to us is actually for our own benefit and not theirs. So dalam ngerasa itu, in a sense, there's a way of self-sacrifice. Like, I think one way to put it, it's like this. Do you remember a point where at one point lo bisa kayak enggak, contoh ya, a father sama anaknya, daddy kepengen makan, okay, bisa, and then he cooked the Indomie, kayak there's only one bowl left, dia udah makan tapi daddy can I have some ya, terus dia dihabisin, kita ekspektasi kita ke anak itu ada apa-apa enggak kan?
Enggak.
That's the true intentions of sincerity and probably self-sacrifice yang biar dia bahagia kayak gitu. Tapi I guess that's a bond yang developed, especially like mother and daughters, father and son, father and daughters kayak gitu.
I think that's a really good point, the whole self-sacrifice thing. But at the same time, when it comes to something like divorce, people view it as being selfish, a selfish
gitu.
decision. So I'm torn now between, I wasn't a martyr about it. There was nothing, I didn't do anything saintly or godly or extra special, angelic. And a lot of people view some of these decisions we make as being selfish because it has an effect on the children. So I'm very torn between the self-sacrifice angle and then actually I'm doing this because this is what's best for me. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a real divide between that. And self-sacrifice is noble, but it's also good to do to feed yourself, right? A big part of receiving is being able to give, and you must give to yourself as well. What deep talk?
Deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
So I know the noble thing is to keep
Yeah.
giving, but you must receive.
Enggak,
You must give to yourself.
to align that kayak gini, we have also our bodily requirements to ourselves. Harus tidur, harus makan, nggak bisa. We have to give it to ourselves because sustainability wise kayak when I was bilang kalau kita udah nggak ada, then who's gonna sustain for them kayak gitu. So itu juga satu keharusan and satu tanggung jawab. I believe that's our responsibility
Yes.
juga kan.
So responsibility doesn't always have to be about self-sacrifice, right?
Ada imbanginya, it's like the balance kayak gitu.
There's a nice thing about being codependent as well. I like the idea of codependency.
So deep.
Yeah. Deep.
Deep dive.
What's your favorite song, Hadi, in the world? Don't tell me it depends. I need to know one song.
One song.
Or what's the one song you're playing now in the car?
Oh, that's
or
actually.
YouTube.
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you.
Yeah. There's one song you got on repeat right now?
Yes, it's
Good things.
John-
Don't say it. What?
yeah.
It's called Good Things Fall
Fall
Apart.
Apart, yeah.
But there's a second part of it.
That's a remix actually, but
Good thing. Oh, that doesn't sound very joyful. Does it have a happy ending?
I don't know. It was like it's like I want
Who
to listen.
sings that?
John Bellion.
John who? Bellion.
Yeah.
I never heard.
Never heard?
Is it R&B
This
ish?
guy.
Oh, I'll ask my son about that. Is it a pretty song?
I think so.
Is
Do you know the song?
I don't. I'm sorry, I don't.
Good Things About Fall Apart.
Fall Apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a nice feel good song right there. Oh, I'll listen to it in the car. But I don't have Bluetooth, so I've got to plug in the cable
Aux.
and
Old
Do you-
school.
Do you have Bluetooth?
No, I do the same
You
thing.
do the same thing? There's
Yeah.
something so satisfying about it.
Yeah.
You're not a high-techy guy.
I am actually, but I still keep in touch with the old stuff lah.
Yeah. So your car's a bit retro.
I think it's not retro, but it's
Just old.
just old.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, I inherited
old.
from my late dad.
Ah.
Yeah.
But I would love to have a car you get in and it just connects to your
Connects.
phone.
Yeah. Mine have. I have a manual Bluetooth, but like sometimes when you get
have
on a
manual-
call,
Yeah.
it's like when I voice note you,
Yeah,
and he would reply, "It's not clear," because the Bluetooth is like
Oh, your car has Bluetooth. That's cool.
No, it's a manual. Like you have to plug in the Bluetooth.
Oh.
So that's why when I use that to voice note, it would not be clear, and he'll be like, "It's not clear. What are you saying?"
Now, are you guys best friends or what?
Gimana ya?
Are you good friends?
Good friends, definitely good friends.
Aw, from little boys.
No,
Recent friends.
I would
That's
say
weird.
okay.
Nobody has asked us this question.
And nobody has friends, new friends
nobody
when they're
has asked
older.
this. Tapi kayak gini, my understanding kayak gini. There are people you meet who are kindred souls that when you see, you just gitu.
So, Hadi, was that to you?
I guess we were to each other kayak
Yeah.
gitu, bener kan?
Yeah.
Kondisinya gitu.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more. Like, what does he do for you that you needed at that point in time when you met him? What was it about him?
I think at first it was just
His sexy body. He's a great conversationalist.
he is. I think he can adapt to any topic, situation,
Yes.
emotions. But I think at first it was just business, right? It was
Bener.
business.
At first it was just business as
Yeah.
usual, kayak business.
Transactional.
Transactional. Karena one of the first thing that gue tanya sama dia, gimana lo nge-handle generational reach kayak untuk Gen Z kayak itu. Kan gue mau kayak nge-writing gitu, gimana ya, gue pusing, pening gue nanya dia itu. So it developed kayak
It almost didn't happen.
he almost flanked me out. It's
Wait,
like
you had the
he almost didn't layan
curiosity,
me kayak
but
gitu.
you had the platform. So it was a question putting these two together.
I think
Like
so.
that.
Yeah,
I
benar.
think so.
Yeah.
Did you not like him when you first met him?
Enggak, he didn't want to answer my call.
Why didn't you take
Dia
his call?
nggak mau.
Phone calls.
No, I was busy. I was
Oh,
like, I
what
had
are you
two
doing?
podcasts
Yeah, benar,
that night.
benar,
The
benar,
night I
benar.
met him, I had two podcasts. And
Two
I-
recordings.
Yes. In like 2-3 hours,
Yeah, benar,
and I still squeezed
Yeah.
in to meet you.
Yeah.
So this is a
Squeezing.
new little dynamic, having Masked Man with you on the show.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be, who knows?
Bisa.
Yeah.
Kita udah bilang kan dari awal, Maskman itu representasi bagi mereka-mereka yang pengen nanya tapi nggak bisa. Jadi suara ramai minoritas itu
Okay, so
atau
he's
majoritas
representing
kayak gitu.
the general population.
Oh iya.
He's
What do you want? Okay.
Kayak itu
We're
the
done with
last
the
question
script.
tadi, udah the last question kayak gitu.
Udah, okay,
Bener.
okay.
Kayak
Okay.
5 question karena waktu gua kepikirin, oh Jenny ini orangnya dia nggak suka di interview, malah dia yang suka
Interview,
nge-interview.
yeah.
Bener kayak.
Iya.
So ntar kayak gitu, we'll leave that out the freedom of expression exploration ya bapak
Iya.
sesepuh kita lah kayak gitu. Like
Iya.
I'm very gimana Star Trek enggak juga tapi pengen tahu curious banget. Now that I'm seeing Jenny in person, wah bener kalau kita ngobar ini ngopi bareng, like ngopi bareng is chill out together over coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, bisa panjang deh.
And I think
Yeah.
I like it because I don't like small talk.
Hmm.
I'll get right in there. I like to get right in there with people. Get in there fast. Get to that, that inside
You would be a
part.
good podcast host.
Am I just
Oh,
nosy? I don't know if I'm just
benar.
nosy,
Yeah.
but
Benar.
Yeah.
I think it's
Benar.
important to connect with people.
Yeah.
Benar.
That's how it is now. People don't like, how are you? Don't
No.
like that. No.
No. So if anybody was to ask, hey, how are you doing, Hadi? What's your answer?
I don't know how to answer.
Really?
It depends. Yeah, it depends. Like now I'm a bit tired.
Okay.
In the morning I'll be like, I'm worried because there's that line of works that needs to be submitted. At night I'll probably say, I'm full.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's really about circumstance.
Circumstances.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I ask you, are you happy with life right now, Hadi? What's your answer?
Yeah, I am happy.
Well, I love hearing that. You are happy.
I am happy.
Is
yes.
that through default? Is that through luck? Is that through decision making? What is that?
decision
through?
making?
The whole point of this, right?
Choices that we make. Yeah, I would say.
So I'm going to close out the show, top and tail end. I just want to say that I've never met you two before, but what a great, rich conversation. I've really enjoyed it today. It's felt real. It hasn't felt manufactured. I've seen a lot of vulnerability in you, honestly, and I find that just so endearing. There's something raw about it, and I want to just get in there more, but it's not the time now. We're going to do it another time. Thank you for your curiosity.
Thank you so much.
I just think we've
Gua
made a
ngefans
new
banget
friendship
dah.
today.
Yes, I
Kan?
think so. I mean, I've seen you quite a while, like a few years, but we never
We don't
really.
know each other.
Yeah.
So this has really exceeded my expectations. The quality of conversation has been great. Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
joining
much.
me.
Terima kasih
Terima
banget.
kasih, terima
ATM.
kasih. Are we
Thank you
gonna
for
go
having me.
bookbar?
Ya, bukber. Ayo buka
Bukber?
bersama. Bukber means buka bersama. Sungkai together. Ya.
Sungkai,
kayak gitu.
sungkai.
together.
Okay.
Ayo, oke.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.